2024 CrossFit Games here in Fort Worth, Texas, as we're bringing back a classic. I'm Chase Singham. Along with me is Adrian Conway. Mike Arsenault on the competition floor will be joining us shortly. And it is heralded as one of the most electric finishes in CrossFit Games history. Push-pull is back with 2.0.
That's right, we got a new version. 45 handstand push-ups you can do anyway. 80-foot sled pull. It's going to be with an empty sled plus the start weight of 70 pounds, 30 strict handstand push-ups, 80-foot sled, and then 15 freestanding handstand push-ups.
Adrian, what are your go-ruck steps to success here?
Well, they're pretty straightforward, but in the middle of this event, there are strict handstand push-ups and strict rules. Those who can create separation there will have an advantage. And then we've also got composure reigns, and composure's gonna come most into play on the final 3 handstand push-ups that put a lot of pressure when it matters most.
That's not the only thing we have on the floor. Let's go to Mike Arsenault about that sled.
These athletes will be taking on 2 sled pulls here in event number 7. Unloaded, 110 pounds, the Texas Star, which we saw last night at Farrington Field, the 70-pound version for a total of 180 pounds. The men will be starting with the standing sled pull, so they'll pull the sled all the way down underneath the rig, and they'll finish with a seated sled pull. They'll sit down on this platform, feet anchored here, and pull the sled all the way to the platform, then of course a race to the finish.
Lane assignments for heat number 1. 4 athletes. One of them actually did push-pull back in 2014. That was Cole Sager.
That's right, Cole Sager, a classic staple at the CrossFit Games for the last 11 years, Chase. And he does have that initial time, 5:38. We'll see how it compares. We know it's not the exact same event, but of course, push-pull 2.0 is going to offer some unique challenges itself.
The athlete next to him is Bailey Martin in lane number 6.
Bailey Martin, one of those younger athletes, second year at the CrossFit Games here, had a 12th place finish last year. Inspired originally by Rich Froning, Chase, he had some pretty good finishes in push-pull, if you remember, finishing second behind Josh Bridges. So if his inspiration carries into Bailey, he should suit pretty well tonight.
Stand by.
Push-pull 2.0 underway. 45 handstand push-ups anyway, anyhow.
Some things to be mindful of. That line down there measures in 10 inches in width. That means some portion of their hand has to be touching that line. The athletes have to stay along the wall with their feet finishing between their hands. So some simple standards those of you that participate in the CrossFit Open will be familiar with.
Adrian, we were talking earlier about, obviously you have the freestanding handstand push-ups looming at the end. And how do you navigate this entire, I mean, to me it's just a minefield for the last 15 reps.
You're so right. It's one of those events that if you allow your emotion to take the best of you, Chase, if you think in your mind, well, just because you can means maybe you should, you're probably going to get it wrong. I would definitely take this workout in regards to break things up early and often, give myself early rest, feel good as I move through, and be able to execute late.
Right at the minute mark, it looks like over in lane number, your top finisher in this heat, Ruan Parkinder, out of South Africa, onto the first sled pull. 110 pounds empty with that 70-pound Happy Star bag. They'll start the first pull standing tall. We actually saw this at semifinals last year in event number 1.
That's right. They're going to try to hold their body as stationary as possible. They don't have to do a strict pull, but they're not going to be allowed to use backward momentum in order to pull the sled into them. The idea is to utilize their hips by extending them, standing up from a low position. We see Pootgitter using a bit of a different strict pull almost, and now he's starting to use those hips a bit more. Sager using his hips as he drives through to stand tall. This is going to help save some of that energy in your grip and in your arms.
And you talk about not able to gain momentum. They're not allowed to step back or pull back intentionally. They have to keep their feet fixed. Now, if they lose their balance after the pull, that's okay.
People will be familiar with this, Chase. We get some movement here by Ruan. Head back.
Peter Ellis on the right side of your screen, out with Ruan.
This is a pretty classic couplet setup where we have a pulling movement upper body coupled with a pressing movement in the upper body. It allows the athletes to continue to move pretty fluidly throughout the event. However, there's going to be a lot of blood pulled in their upper body that opposes exactly what they did this morning with the 1,000 step-ups.
I think Peter Ellis was just running back to chalk his hands to finish the sled pull as Bailey Martin's trying to get his first pull down. Cole Sager did this event all the way back in 2014, where he took 15th place in the original push-pull. We go from kipping handstand push-ups to strict.
Yeah, so now as we watch on here, athletes aren't allowed to bend their legs or close their hip by bending at the hip in order to create upward momentum with that kip. They've got to have the controlled action of tapping the head to the ground and then pressing through the top.
Bailey Martin on the right, trying to shake his arms out. Cole Sager taking a break. Now, Ruan Podkitter, when he was talking to Dave Castro coming in, he says, I like anything with a handstand walk. You don't quite get that to the end, but pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. It looks like Ruan is actually really close to his threshold here, breaking his sets down into very small sets at this point. May have come out a little bit too big early. This is what I meant by strict rules, Chase, is that in this opportunity here, depending on how you navigated those first 45, kipping anyway, this is a great opportunity for athletes who can excel at strict handstand push-ups to really pull away.
And you see that opening 45 with the kip, knowing you have the 30 strict in the middle. That sled pull's not going to make anything easier. And the trap there could be, 45 kipping handstand push-ups, no problem, let's go unbroken.
You know that's the trap. We've all succumbed to that trap in the gym, in our own training in some way, shape, or form. We see a rep scheme, we're like, okay, hey, I got that under control. And then the next movement, of course, stops you in your tracks, and you're just standing around. You're not out of breath. You've simply met your ends when it comes to local muscle endurance or strength, and you gotta wait. There's almost nothing more frustrating.
Podkitter, 1 rep left to go, and he'll make his way across the floor. And he'll move to a seated sled pull. And Cole Sager just behind him.
On to the pulling for round number 2.
The advantage here, of course, is the leg drive that the athletes get from leverage into that foot position, that foot stopper there, the stall mat that they get to push against the platform. Can have an opportunity to save their arms just a touch.
Cole Sager slanted to the right, trying to reel in Ruan. We have 15 freestanding handstand push-ups to close things out. So you think 45 handstand push-ups, kipping to start, plus the 30 you do in the middle. Now we're sitting at 75 with the 15, 90 total reps of inverted pressing.
Yeah, that's a lot for anyone, but considering where we're at the stage of the week and the test that has been completed so far, but Ruan will be the first one there.
And this is where, I hate to say that this is where the event actually starts because it's where it finishes, but we were talking earlier about how to approach this, and the trap could be trying to get here with enough time, but did you expend too much effort in that track to get here?
Yeah, and that's the question. As we even see Ruan taking a moment to compose himself, you don't need to rush to get there. You want to be smooth and make them count when you decide to go. Now the rule here, Chase, will be that the athletes cannot allow foot contact with the ground. Knees might touch the elbows, may make contact with the arms. And the minimum is 3 unbroken at a time there. The yellow lines are going to segment a full successful rep. So if they get 2 and not a third in each block, they're going to have to go back to that sequential line, that previous line.
Teams had to do 5 earlier. No matter how you slice it, man, 15 reps at the end of everything that they're doing there. So you can see it add up. But Cole Sager trying to keep that position. And sometimes if you just find your balance point, your rhythm, you can make a move. Hands must start behind the line, finish past the line. Head must come in contact with the mats. So you see they'll kick up in front of the line, touch the head. Feet cannot touch the ground, but the knees can touch the elbows. And that'll do it for Ruan Potkadur. 7:35.94. Time cap is 10 minutes.
Pretty clean execution there for Ruan. I'm already making the assumption, Chase, that if he could go back and change anything, he'd start a little slower. He really executed so clean on the back half, but it was those strict handstand push-ups in the middle that he kind of ran into a bit of a slowing point.
And we say it a lot, is that those later heats, just back there taking notes, taking time checks. Okay, what's a good time? How do I get there the easiest way possible?
Yep.
Cole Sager, one more rep, got to get across the line, and he does. Peter Ellis, 4th place at the Oceania region at the Torian Pro. First year competing at the CrossFit Games. Flew to the United States in 2019 to watch the CrossFit Games. 17 years old with his dad, and told him in the stands that one day I will be down there on the floor competing as well.
Gotta love those kind of stories, man. True inspiration. Set a goal, achieve it. 5 years later, here you are. Peter trying to find some reprieve for those triceps. A ton of blood, a lot of lactate has been produced and can pull in those muscles. He's trying to do as best he can to flush it from that area so he can have some strength and stability there.
1 down, 2 to go.
40 seconds remain as Ellis stays composed.
You start to hear the crowd getting into it, and as we go from heat to heat, we saw this in the team competition earlier, is that we may get some of the biggest rousing crowds that we've had so far today. Sorry, I became a fan for about 5 seconds.
Hey, that's a part of the gig too. You just got to draw yourself back, right? It's hard for us also to not enjoy and of course get so drawn in even emotionally, just like the crowd is. That's the power of the community.
We got outstanding in the broadcast booth, not sitting in the stands. Ruan Potkadur sets the time to beat 7:35.94 in heat number 1. We still got 3 heats left to go here for Push-Pull 2.0. Cole Sager makes his way off the floor. We said he already did the original push-pull as 11-time CrossFit Games champion. The question is, how do you last for 11 years? And talking about Arasti and what they do for the athletes that are part of the affiliate community. They're helping our coaches. They're helping out affiliate owners. I want to go backstage to see if they can do anything for my vocal cords personally.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, listen, I'll tell you, Cole doesn't get here without taking care of his body intentionally. And a lot of times that includes weekly, if not bi-weekly body work. Someone tending to your knees, tight muscles, tight fascia, helping educate you as well on just ways to keep yourself together so you can go perform at a high level, not when you compete, but every single day in the gym.
And that's a part of the training with a lot that doesn't get talked about enough with some of these elite athletes, is their ability to recover as a part of that equation.